Welcome to Half Full and a Cup of Joe with Joe Fulford, the show that's always overflowing with optimism and caffeine. Joe's got his game face on and his coffee cup full, ready to dive into the world of football. From the Florida Gators to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and beyond to college and NFL football, Joe's got the analysis, the insights, and the passion to get you pumped up and ready for the game. So sit back, relax, and fill up your cup with Joe. And now from West Des Moines, Iowa, here is Joe Fulford.
Oh boy, kind of like how I feel. I gotta get into the swing of things. Trying to get back into it after everything that's happened during the course of last week. But quite frankly, it was a bummer last week. I mean, we saw the debacle of a game Saturday night in Lexington, and then we come back home Sunday to see what was really a great game against the Bucs and the Patriots, only for the Patriots to come out on the winning end and defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll talk about that in just a second. Gators going to be coming up a little bit later on. Ron Brown running a little bit late. He'll join me a little bit later on, and then let's see if we can get anybody who is brave enough to come on and talk Gators and Bucs on this beautiful Thursday night. Glad you could join me tonight on a night in which, things are kind of mild here in Des Moines, Iowa, or as they like to call it, Des Moines, more or less. So we got Thursday Night Football, the Patriots, who we just saw Sunday. They were at home taking on the New York Jets. That game's on Amazon Prime. There'll be updates that's going on. There's college football that's also happening. Nothing in the top 25, but a couple of games, interesting games for tomorrow night. And we'll be discussing all that. We got a chat room. Feel free to comment, and I'll get you questions as much as I can. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We are also on Twitter at janimal45 at x.com. Go on there, see me, post comments, and love to get your thoughts on and everything that's going on. Probably answer the questions that you guys might want to see answered. So, as I said, Ronnie's going to join me a little bit later on. So let's begin our conversation with the boys behind me, Buccaneers. They were at home as they took on the New England Patriots, and not a divisional matchup, but a very important game nevertheless for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A win puts them at 7-2 on the year, but instead it was a heartbreaking performance. 28-23 was the final score in that game, as the Buccaneers were just not able to overcome a Buccaneer Patriots offense anchored by Drew May, who really impressed me a lot. He really impressed me a lot. I mean, and I really thought the Patriots were not going to be that good of a team this year, but Drake May, boy, that kid is really good. He was 16 of 31 for 270 yards on the day. Threw two touchdowns, had that one interception. But it was their player Henderson, who ran the ball 14 times for 147 yards. And to my knowledge, I think that's the most that we've seen a single person run against this Buccaneer defense this year. I could be wrong on that, but I do not recall any time a running back on an opposition team ran for 100 and 47 yards and scored 2 touchdowns on the day. Pretty impressive when you really stop and think about that. Hollins for the Patriots had 6 receptions for 106 yards on the day. So really, 475, 35 offensive yards performance. 5 penalties on the day for the Patriots, enabling the 28-23 win. Now that doesn't take away from Baker's performance. I mean, he played great. 28-43, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day. But with Sean Tucker, who only had 9 carries for 53 yards. And boy, are we missing Bucky Irving like you wouldn't believe. And Rachaad White, he's not getting it done. He gets it done when he's able to come out of that backfield and catch the ball. But I mean, Rachaad White is not being that running back that we thought that he was going to be this year. And they need Bucky Irving back. Now, there is some good news that happened this week. Bucky Irving, yesterday, they had a walkthrough, and Bucky Irving participated in that. And also, Chris Godwin participated in that as well. Now, let's not get our hopes up here, because this is just the beginning of the return of these two very important players. Okay? So, they have not opened up the 21-day window like they did for Luke Gedeke last week. He's expected to play this week, and you listen to him, he's all just excited as all get out on the game coming up this weekend. And you know, as you look at the game against the Buffalo Bills, you know, you tend to wonder, you know, about this team, Buffalo. They're coming off a loss at the hands of the Miami Dolphins. It's like, wow, you know. You lose to the Miami Dolphins? Seriously? Tua, or whatever you want to call him. You lose to him? Good Lord. I'm happy for Miami in the fact they won the game, but man, for Josh Allen and them to lose to the Patriots, that is a killer. And you know, hopefully this Buccaneer defense gets its head on straight. Heard from Baker Mayfield this week. He really let it all loose Sunday after the Patriots loss, and basically challenged the offense to get its act together, just to stop messing up on the tiniest of details that happen. Because in the world of football, it's the tiniest details that could become major problems. We saw that. We're seeing it with the Florida Gators. The tiniest of details have caused some major problems. Now, more on the Gators in just a little bit, but I was just so it was a good game, but it wasn't the kind of game that everybody thought that it was going to be. You know, Bucs would be up, Patriots be up, Bucs be up, Patriots be up. And it looked like for a time that there wasn't the hunger there to win it, you know? And sometimes it would just drive you nuts. You almost want to scream. So, you know, let's see here. Wait a minute. All right, there I go. Okay, hopefully my microphone is on. I thought it wasn't on. Okay, so anyhow, seeing how the way the Bucs play, I mean, it was like you would just scream, exactly, just like that. You just want to scream at the way this team was playing, and it drove as players and as fans. It was just driving you, you know. But the Bucs hung in there. They weren't ready to give up. They kept fighting through all the injuries that happened. They had a multitude of injuries in the game. Um, Ben Brenderson, who the offensive lineman, he came out with a knee injury. He's fine. They think that Brenderson will be able to come back and play this Sunday at Buffalo. But it's still, I mean, the injuries that we just saw, those injuries keep piling up. As a matter of fact, I mean, looking at the injury report for the game this coming Sunday against Buffalo, I'll pull it up here real quick and give you a quick rundown. I can tell you that Brenderson, well, he didn't practice yesterday and today with a hamstring injury. Godwin was limited in practice. Bucky Irving was limited in practice. I told you that a moment ago. They were practicing. Hassan Reddick, he did not practice. He's still listed with that ankle knee injury. Vita Vey has a back injury. He has not practiced at all this week. Keep an eye on that. Antoine Winfield has a foot injury. He's been limited in practice. Anthony Nelson, uh, he did not practice this week. The outside linebacker, he has an illness, so it's doubtful that if he's going to play. Let's see here from the Buffalo Bills side. Everybody looks to be pretty healthy. They do have some bumps and bruises. Joey Bosa has a wrist injury, but they think that he is going to play this coming Sunday. Dalton Kincaid, tight end, he did not practice Wednesday and Thursday, so his status is up in the air. We got a chat room. You want to talk? Post your comments. Love to listen to you. Ron Brown will be on a little bit later on. He's running a little bit late, and we'll talk more about college football and what's going on as the new polls have come out. But to the stats, to those stats that we talked about in the game, I mean, those are pretty impressive stats. But the Bucs, for them, they just could not get the job done, and they had their they had their issues, you know, and now as Baker said after the game, we need to have a talk with our offensive personnel. We need to have a talk with our guys. And believe you me, Baker Mayfield is not afraid to. Baker Mayfield is not afraid to tell anybody how he feels. As we look at the standings in the NFL, Bucs are now 6-3 on the year. Panthers are 5-5. Falcons are 3-6. Saints bring it up at 2-8. Okay. And part of that, I think can be attributed to the fact that this was the first week that the Buccaneers have come back since the bye. So you expect to be a little slow. So I mean, I can see that point. I can see that point. But it's a matter now of getting getting your feet back underneath you and start to play the kind of football that you know that you are capable of playing. Again, Bucs will play this Sunday, 12 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The game will be on CBS. For this series, the Buccaneers lead the series 8-5. Let's see here. This is the first matchup for the two teams. It all started back in 1976. That was the first matchup that these two teams met, the inaugural season. Of course, Buffalo won. Of course. No, there wasn't a secret win. Bucs actually won that game. Now, there is some other news that has happened with Rob Gronkowski, former Patriot and former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He signed a 1-year deal, 1-day contract with the New England Patriots to announce his retirement from the National Football League. Good for him. Congratulations on that. And I'm very happy for him on that achievement. Waiting for Ron Brown to show up here in just a few minutes. I want to check a couple things real quick. Been kind of like a hectic afternoon. Let's see here. Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He's back, and he's going to be the starting quarterback this Sunday when the 49ers play. That's it. And he says he feels great, and he thinks he'll be ready to play when he takes on the Chargers coming up this week. Chargers coming up. Is it the Chargers or is it the Cardinals? Arizona Cardinals. Speaking of which, let's go and run down the games that we have coming up this weekend. Washington beat Miami, but that's over in London. So Spain, Madrid, Spain. And it's the final international league game for the season for the National Football League. And that features the Redskins versus Miami at Miami. 12 o'clock contest, Carolina, Atlanta, Houston at Tennessee, Chicago at Minnesota, Green Bay at New York. Brian Daboll out as head coach of the New York Giants. There's a lot of talk of Lane Kiffin possibly going to the New York Giants. More on that in just a minute. Cincinnati will be at Pittsburgh. The Chargers will be at Jacksonville. I heard one of the players for Jacksonville may be sidelined for a couple of weeks. Travis Hunter may be sidelined for the next couple of weeks with an injury. Seattle will be at the Rams. That's a 3 o'clock start Central Time. 49ers at Arizona. We talked about that. Baltimore will be at Cleveland. Kansas City will be at Denver. By the way, Xavier Worthy has an injury. They don't look like he can play for this game. And the Lions will be at Philadelphia. Monday Night Cowboys at the Raiders. That Dallas-Philadelphia game, that might be a doozy. Detroit. I'm sorry, Detroit. Two very good teams going up against each other. And, that could be one wingding of a ball game. Just like the game we saw last week, Monday night, Philadelphia against Green Bay. I don't know about you all, but I actually enjoyed that game. I thought that game had a. I mean, it kind of kept your heart beating, you know. Yeah, yeah. Just. I mean, it's like, okay, what's going to happen here, you know? And just a great. It was it's kind of boring, but it was also good because it was a great defensive battle. In fact, halftime of the game was nothing, nothing. First time, I believe, since 1970 that has happened on Monday Night Football. Wow. And so, now, with the game and now with Detroit and Philadelphia, that could very well be a preview of the NFC match, of the NFC Championship game. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, no. I think that I think that um, I think that I think before all is said and done, um, I think you're going to see the Buccaneers in the mix of all this. I really do. In fact, they stand number 4 overall in the NFC playoff spot right now. Now, want to remind my good friends with the Tampa Bay, we have Buccaneer fan club here in Des Moines. Okay, Buccaneer Invasion, as we like to call it. We've been having a group party. You know, um, we've been having a group party, watch party every week at Buffalo Wild Wings meetups. Well, this week we're going to do something different. We're going to be doing the Buffalo game at a different restaurant called the um, Blue Shark Ale House, located 3701 Northwest 86th Street in Urbandale. The party begins at 12 o'clock. That's when the game kicks off, but we'll get there early. Come on by, have a good time, have a beer, have some food, and enjoy a lot of great Buccaneer fans here in Iowa as we get ready for the game this Sunday. Again, it's at Blue Shark Ale House, 3701 Northwest 86th Street in Urbandale. So you want to be sure to come by and watch that game. So, seeing if my boy's on yet. Not yet. He's supposed to be on here in just a couple of minutes. So that's what's going on with the Bucs and them as they get ready for their game coming up this weekend against the Buffalo Bills. Again, 12 o'clock is the kickoff time. You want to be sure to watch that. Now, I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Okay. What probably is also laughable at this time is probably my boys right here, known as the Florida Gators. Now, they themselves had just come off a bye also, and they traveled to the confines of Lexington, Kentucky. Well, actually, no. It was a week following the Georgia game where they actually played well. Well, they traveled to the confines of Lexington, Kentucky to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. And boy, it was not a pretty game at all. Just multiple, for the Gators, it wasn't about penalties. It was just lack of errors, lack of consistency. Excuse me. And a quarterback that really just digressed big time. in that game as DJ Lagway was able to just amass 86, 83 yards on the afternoon. In fact, for DJ, he was 11 of 19 for 83 yards on the day and threw three interceptions on the day. It was only later in the game that Trammell Jones Jr. came in with 9 of 17 for 60 yards, and he was sacked one time. But, I mean, the offense, especially the line, they just played a horrible game. I mean, they only got one sack, but they were really pressuring the Gators big time. And Mark Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats, they really deserve a lot of credit for what they did. I mean, it was not the kind. It was not the game that we all anticipated. I think that for us fans, we thought maybe Billy Gonzalez had finally figured this out, and maybe this Gator team would be able to play a good game. But they just couldn't put it together. Jaden Ball, 5 catches for 27 yards. He ran the ball 17 times for 70 yards on the day. No touchdowns by him. Lagway ran 5 times for 27 yards. I mean, 143 yards total offense on the day. I mean, and it was just, and for Florida, one, they punted the ball. Let's see here. They had a touch. Let's see. They intercepted on the first drive, punted on the second drive, scored on the third drive, fumbled on the fourth drive, punted on the fifth drive, interceptions on the fifth and sixth, and then the second half, the Gators only had the ball 3 times and lost it. One to punting, and then 2 times on downs. Just such an awful, pathetic performance. And I go back, and guys, and we cannot stress this enough how important the offseason is for these players. If you want them to be good, they have to practice in the offseason. And if you're not practicing, if you're not becoming part of, if you're not being able to participate in those off-season workouts, you are not going to be able to have a very good season. And that's what happened with DJ Lagway. Now, this is why Billy Napier's out. And, of course, Billy Gonzalez is in for now. And then they were going to make way for another coach. We're going to talk more about that with Ron Brown, who has just made his way into the studio following that deluxe seafood steak dinner. Knowing Ron Brown, that's what he eats all the time: seafood and steak. That's how them guys are, the seafood and steak kind of guy. Oh, speaking of which, Billy Napier was seen at Georgia practice the other day. You think Napier is trying to kind of like nudge his way into the Georgia program? I don't know. I know from on Brown, he's trying to nudge his way into my show, so as I bring him on if I can. Hang on a minute, Ron. Why can I bring you on? Hang on. What is going on here? What's happening here? Ron, give me a minute here. I got some issues here. I get you too. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
Oh,
Just listening to
there
you
we
talk
go.
about the Florida fire. I mean, Auburn, Florida. Auburn showed some life. Florida struggling. That was beyond pitiful in Lexington. There's no breathing life. I mean, people underestimated how big a deal it was for DJ Lagway to miss so much work, and he's been trying to use the season to do what he should have been doing in the winter, spring, and summer workouts, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you're not, and look, we're not trying to place the blame on, we're not trying to place the blame on DJ. If you're injured, you're injured. You can't do anything. But it becomes so detrimental, and these coaches see that, and it's like, why aren't you preparing Tremor Jones for the year? Why aren't you preparing Aiden Warner for the season? I mean, this is not just DJ's fault. It is the coaching staff and their inability to prepare their team for 2025.
Well, that's their fault, and they should have known. They should have had a plan. You've always got to have a backup plan if somebody gets hurt. And you're lucky if you got 3 good quarterbacks on your roster, in today's world, because the kids are just transferring at the drop of the hat. Their mattress is too hard. Pillow's not soft enough. We've emasculated a lot of the culture, and it's showing up in football. But Florida, I mean, I've been listening to Franz Beard and Buddy Martin, and it's scorched earth. You just throw it all in a burn pile and start over. Because DJ Lagway, Garrett Nussmeier, Lenora Sellers, Arch Manning, these guys were all the poster children of what a quarterback's supposed to look like. And collectively, they really haven't done much this year. Lenora Sellers, he was going to be a number 1 pick. He's a lot like Cam Newton. Really, I mean,
I'm not impressed with him at all.
No. Yeah, look, Garrett Nussmeier, I said this coming into the season, 12 interceptions last year. 12. His record is I'm not sure if he's even 500 as an SEC starting quarterback. What we have is a bunch of repeatists out here. They just parrot and repeat what they hear. They scroll through Twitter and think they've done their homework. There's a lot of good stuff on Twitter. There's a lot of AI misinformation out there. So many people picking LSU. I didn't put LSU in my top 6 in the SEC because Brian Kelly was the coach. And again, they've always got talent at LSU. Florida, I did think Florida would be pretty damn good this year. Thought Auburn would be better. I thought Arkansas could win 7 or 8 games. But, man, that is such a colossal meltdown. I don't know who's going to take these jobs and do better, but you can turn it around quickly with NIL and the portal. But if your fan base is not all in on NIL and willing to sacrifice and do whatever it takes to support the school, then you're going to be 500 at best and go to some bowl that's named after a motor oil or cereal or something. I don't know, but
and look, whoever comes in, they're just going to explode it and rebuild it from the ground up. I mean, it's like
yeah, it is.
I mean, it's so crazy thing to think. And look, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it on Discord, and I'll say it again till I'm blue in the face. Lane Kiffin is not going to be a part of the Florida Gators. You may disagree with me, but after what he sees Saturday at his own home field, I think he's going to look at what he has and say to himself, why would I want to leave? Why would I want to leave when I got it made here at Ole Miss? I mean, I got what I want. I got what I need. I got the possibility of winning a national championship. Why would I want to blow that up right now and go to Florida and restart from the beginning when I can just keep building what I have?
Well, That's what's going on. Lane Kiffin, and he doesn't have to answer to the boosters and the athletic director. He has two people he answers to at Ole Miss. If he wants to go fishing for 3 weeks down in Boca Raton, Florida, he goes. He loves that. And he's got connections to Florida. And, we reported that stuff a few weeks ago on our channel, SEC Sideline Sports Network. But you've got everything that you need to win in place right now at Ole Miss. Now, he could get better talent. He could get a lot of things better at Florida out of high school. But the way that Lane Kiffin does it in the portal at Ole Miss, they've got, Lauren Meadows on the Tuesday night show that I was on with him, the Lowdown with Lauren Meadows. Lauren said the Gator Collective has about 900 members. And I know that the Grove Collective is pushing 15,000 members. Just in the last couple of weeks, a couple of their donors, and I know this, I live in Memphis, I'm right on top of it. 2 of their donors gave them $20 and $10 million each, respectively.
To Ole Miss.
Yeah, to Ole Miss. They have a lot of money there. There's some big tire guys in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, that are gazillionaires. I think they may be billionaires. People are totally clueless on the money that's come from Ole Miss. Remember, they have the number 3 rated accounting school in America. And it's been good for a long, long time. Those people have worked their way through the businesses, corporate America, into a lot of CEO positions and CFO positions. Ole Miss is not going to be outbid. And people will say, well, Ole Miss is going to tap out at 11 million or whatever. Man, I don't know with these glasses, I look like a pirate. I can't find my regular ones, but I'm not buying it, Joe. Yeah, Ole Miss.
I'm not either.
Everything's about money, though. It's always about money. And Jimmy Sexton, Memphis Fats, as Pete Cordelli calls him, is pulling the strings behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz. He's orchestrating every damn bit of this stuff. This is all by design. Just remember that. I live in Memphis.
Oh, yeah. And for those who don't know, Jimmy Sexton, longtime agent, NFL agent, also has agent with a lot of coaches. And if the truth be known, he's the only one right now that has Brian Kelly. He has Lane Kiffin, Billy Napier,
Kirby Smart.
I was going to say, I think even Kirby Smart is a client. It's a Sexton client. So Sexton has a lot of these coaches, and this is going to be a man that's going to be making a lot of money in the off season. There's no question about it. Let's take Kiffin out of the picture.
Okay.
Let's take Kiffin out of the picture for a minute. And let's say that Kiffin says, I'm not going to make a decision to after the playoffs until we're done with the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which I think would be bad because I think it sends a signal to his team. Why would we want to play for a coach if he's not willing to stay? I mean, there's that legitimate argument there.
Mm.
Who does Scott Strickland turn to next? Okay. Well, I'm listening. I'm hearing Jeff Fish. I mean, I'm hearing. I'm even hearing Franklin, former head coach.
Why would they go after Franklin? His record against top 5, top 10 ranked teams is horrible.
I'm just telling what I'm hearing. I'm not saying it's true. Okay. Yeah. All right. But no, it's like I'm hearing, Franklin's name being bandied about a little bit. I mean, Jeff Fish's name bandying about a little bit. But I've always said that if you want a good coach, you better have one that understands the Florida culture. Just like, I mean, and I said this before, I'll say it again. Take Ray Perkins, for example. Ray Perkins graduated from Alabama. Okay, he went to the NFL and then came back to his alma mater to coach at Alabama. Why? Because he understood the culture. And I think the same thing. I know it's a different era, but for Florida, I think they need to understand if they want somebody, they better get the guy that understands the culture and the winning ways at Florida. You may disagree with me on that, but that's how I'm feeling about this. The trouble is, who do you find that knows about the Florida culture?
Well, they'll learn quickly when you throw $70 or $80 million in their lap. I mean, that's how that works. And the great fit is always the guy that wins at your school. I think Florida, they're going all in like Alabama did with Mal Moore, the athletic director. They sent him to Miami and said, don't come back without Nick Saban. And he came back with Nick Saban, and it worked out really well. But I think these guys like James Franklin, Matt Rule, why are they so hyped up? Their record, respectively, both of them, their record against top 5, top 10 teams is horrible. You look, if it's not good there, why is it going to be better when you go into the SEC, which is a meat grinder every damn Saturday? So I would say if I'm Florida, coaches that I'd be really, really seriously looking at, I look at that guy, J.G. Garrett, the coach at UT San Antonio. I look at Morris at North Texas State, because they also could bring their hot shot quarterbacks with them. Because if I'm Florida, I'm not assuming that anything's good with DJ Lagway at all. I mean, he may have been a big time talent coming out of high school, but what we've seen this year, and he's been injured, he's fallen behind. Why isn't he doing more? Why isn't he doing better? You can't blame all that on the play calling and Billy Napier, as bad as it was. So Florida, look at someone, Jed Fish was there briefly. I think he has a relationship with Steve Spurrier. That's one that you can certainly look at. But taking a guy from the Big Ten, like James Franklin, or Matt Rule from the Big Ten at Nebraska, who don't have good records against ranked teams, is stupid. The problem is you've got a lot of ignorant people on these search committees that in some cases have made a lot of money, and that's great for them. But just because they made a lot of money selling jet skis or cars and trucks, or they've built a lot of houses and they've acquired a tremendous wealth from that, doesn't mean they know how to hire a football coach.
No.
It can come into the SEC and win. So you better be more aware. Surely you've got to have a list of candidates, but you better be aware of the people that are on your board of trustees or the search committee. How competent are these people?
Yeah, I think that's a key point. Yeah. Competence, and how intelligent are they? Do they know what they're doing? And they say that Scott Strickland's going to be the one to pick the candidate, but I don't. I think Scotty knows that this is his last go round. If this one fails, he's out.
Well, if he, think about Dan Mullen. Would Dan Mullen have been better off if he had stayed at Mississippi State? I mean, he could have.
Yes,
we could have won like that forever. He goes to Florida, where he'd been an offensive coordinator on a couple of national championship teams. He'd been with Urban since Utah State. He goes to Florida and gets the Gators to 3 consecutive New Year's Six bowls. And that wasn't good enough because he didn't stay up at night worrying about recruiting. And whoever drove that narrative drove the Florida football program off a cliff.
Yeah.
And now you've got 4 years of Billy Napier, who I thought would be successful. Well, but, he's another one. Yes, he's got a tenure on his resume with Dabo at Clemson, Nick Saban at Alabama. It sounds just like the Bear Bryant thing. If you stopped in Tuscaloosa when Bryant was there and bought gas and a cup of coffee, you were one of Bryant's coaches. That's how they would portray it. It's just not that easy. You've got to get people that know what the hell they're doing. There are a lot of really stupid people on these search committees that say, well, we can't take a coach from a group of 5 and make him a coach at a Power 4. It's just like this. If you transfer down from Florida to a lesser school, let's say group of 5 or Division II, you will start 1/7 as many times in the NFL as a player who transfers up from D2, like Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback at Ole Miss from up around Detroit,
Right.
or someone that comes from a group of 5 school to a Power 4. That's an automatic red flag to the NFL if you transfer down, because what you are saying loud and clear, I can't handle the competition. But you're going to get to the NFL, you won't last. You will not make it. You won't even get drafted.
Yeah, and it's a crazy time, no doubt about it, with trying to figure out that if Lane doesn't come, who would be the new head coach? Who would want to take this mess to be the new head coach of the Florida Gators? And if Florida had played a lot better, not necessarily win, but had played a lot better and with more discipline, I would say to myself, okay, there's a little bit of hope with this team. Maybe Billy G knows what he's doing, but the more these Gators play and the more they keep playing the way they are, it's just not looking good for Billy Gonzalez and his future at Florida.
Well, when you fire a coach, you typically get a quick bounce, a bump. Dead cat bounce is the stock market term in the first game. And then reality sets in. Hey, our coach is gone. We have no idea if this interim coach is going to be named head coach. We don't know who the hell our leader is going to be. And that's what happened with Florida. To lose 38-7 at Kentucky, damn, Kentucky's beaten Florida 4 of the last 5 years. There's no need to panic. If I'm Florida, I'll tell you another one I'd have been going after before. And I don't know if he signed his contract or what. We always hear that they've got their new contract, but have they signed it? Rhett Lashley at SMU.
Yes.
He's an Arkansas guy, coached at Auburn for 6 or 7 years.
Yes.
And I know he loves the Auburn job, but Florida, go get Rhett. My God, he's a great recruiter.
That's what I hear. I hear a lot. I hear a lot of. I remember when he was at Arkansas. I mean, he built that. He really got that program to a very high status before he decided to move on to SMU.
Well, now Rhett Lashley was at Auburn for a long time with Gus, and then
but he was at Arkansas too. That's what I remember.
He played there in 2005. But I don't think he was back there coaching.
I thought he was.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's okay. But I'm saying Rhett is a rock star coach. I really like him. And you got to look too at, and I don't know, but Joey McGuire at Texas Tech. Now he's got Cody Campbell's $4.5 billion oil company that he sold, and they're pumping money like they pump oil out of the ground into the Texas Tech program. But Eli Drinkowitz, look at his record last 2 years.
I know.
0-6 against ranked teams in the SEC. Well, if he was at Florida, he'd have more resources. No, either you can do it or you can't do it. Joe, have you ever bought a new car, truck, or SUV without taking a test drive and driving it around the block?
Never, but I get the point but I think I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
These guys have got to show their chops, is the term you use, somewhere. But you know what? Dabo's going to leave Clemson, I bet, in a year or two. He may leave this year. Look, they're like a couple, been together 17 years as the head coach. They're sick of each other. It's just not working. The kids are older, but they don't want their kids to grow up seeing the parents push each other away when they're walking by each other down the hall. That's kind of where Clemson is. I'll tell you, Florida, take a look at Tony Elliott, former offensive coordinator at Clemson. He's at Virginia. He's winning at Virginia. Now, granted, Virginia has one of the top business schools in America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I found out about Indiana. I have a friend that works for somebody. It's a hedge fund manager in Indiana worth billions. I said, is he giving money to Indiana NIL? He goes, oh, hell yeah, millions. Everybody's got these people. I'm telling you, we've all got them. If you got a great college of engineering, a great college of business and accounting and finance, you're going to have boosters that print money, but they're not stupid.
No, they're not. They're not. And it's everything lies with Lane Kiffin. Does he announce after the regular season? Does he wait until the playoffs? I mean, I gotta believe that Florida is not gonna wait on Lane Kiffin till the playoffs. And I mean, I think that's suicidal. But then again,
I think you're right.
I mean, because in this day and age, when your football season ends, it's a quick turnaround. You have to find your new coach, find a coaching staff, get ready to recruit these guys. Not to mention keep the guys that you have from entering the portal. Which, by the way, I would not be surprised if we see DJ Lagway do that. It's sad, but I think I think for DJ Lagway's sake, I think that's what he wants to do. He's not going to say it, but I think that's in the mind of DJ Lagway once the season ends, because I saw him sitting down on that bench, and I could read his lips and say, "Wow, this is a bunch of crap,"
Yeah. Well, Garrett Nussmeier was benched in Tuscaloosa, LSU's quarterback, Saturday night. You see these coaches now, they're burned out. They're getting paid a ton of money, but it's insanity. You've got the December signing period. You got to get ready for bowl games.
Yes.
The playoffs.
Yes.
Now they've pushed the portal to January 2nd.
Yes.
Now, does that mean that every player that's playing in those playoff games can't hit the portal? Look, NIL is not the biggest problem with college football.
That is a great point.
It's the portal.
Yes.
Lack of continuity.
I mean,
college football's ass.
I mean, are kids going to be able to leave if in the portal while they in the playoffs? And speaking of the playoffs, playoffs.
Jim Mora,
playoffs. How about hey? You know what? Hey, listen. We saw the latest college football rankings come out, and kudos to the University of South Florida Bulls, school that I used to go to, worked at. They were in if the season ended today, they would be ranked in the college football playoffs. And my good friend Davian Benito comments, and he says a lot of Bull fans are a little nervous that Golish may be gone. I think that he's building something very special in Tampa. Davian, you're right. I mean, he is building something very special. He's doing something great. We just saw where the sketches of their facility and what they want to build to get ready by 2027. I mean, it's really fantastic what they're doing. And they have a new AD in Rob Higgins, who I happen to know pretty well. And, South Florida is looking very good. And, I mean, I can understand if Golish would want to leave, but he's got something cooking down there that's really pretty special. I mean, make no mistake about it.
Well, what were his records the first 2 years? They were horrible. Okay,
yes.
They're good now, but you start looking, be very careful. This is what happens in March Madness with NCAA basketball tournament. Some coach at a mid-tier or never heard of school, and there are 357 schools that are eligible to make March Madness. There's 136 eligible to make the college football playoff, and only 12 can make it. Soon it will be 14, then 16. But you see,
is that how it's going to work? Yeah, I was going to work 12,
I
14, and 16.
I thought it was, but that who knows? With as fast as things change now, let's say
Exactly.
we know it's 12 right now. So
Yeah, I know it's 12.
here's your problem: you got a coach at some school, Weber State, Toledo, Kent. They get hot in March. They beat a higher seeded team, and suddenly, we got to have this coach. If you put him here at Kentucky or at UCLA or at North Carolina with all their resources, oh my God, imagine the humanity of it all, the wins.
I know.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
It doesn't happen. And I see it over and over again. You hire these coaches that had won a game or two in the tournament, and they can't do it at the bigger school because that was one on. They got to do that every night. We crank up our SEC basketball coverage, man. It's exciting, but every game matters. And if you're stupid enough to think the regular season doesn't matter, that's on you. I can't unfix stupid. But every game of the regular season matters because if you don't play well there, you have no chance at the postseason.
Hey, 7'9" Oliver Rio.
Tallest human being I've ever seen.
I mean that is unbelievable. He is the tallest player on the
He's ginormous. What? My kids call him ginormous.
Yeah, ginormous. Yeah, I mean 7'9". He plays for the Florida Gators. This is his second year because they redshirted. I think they redshirted him last year. So technically, this would be his first year. Yeah. And what you were talking about a moment ago, Davian goes on to say that Scott Frost is a prime example of the things that you were talking about. So yeah, I mean it's I don't see Golish. I don't think Golish would leave for the University of Florida, but that's just me. Talk about the college football playoffs. There's been a lot of discussion whether an AD should be on the college football playoff committee, and that prompted from a guest who was heading it up. He resigned. I don't know much about this story. Tell us what happened with that.
Well, all I've heard is that Mack Rose, the athletic director at Baylor, who's the spokesman that you see on the college football playoff committee, had some words with Michael Trigg, big-time football player, wide receiver for Baylor, on the sidelines of a game. He was wearing maybe a yellow shirt when everybody else was wearing a black undershirt. And he got mad about that. And so Rhodes has stepped back, I think, for 28 days. And now they've put Hunter Yurachek, the athletic director at Arkansas, on the playoff committee in that same role. I guess why not? He's got plenty of spare time. His football team didn't go into a bowl game, and they're not in the playoff. But I think they're making a big deal about nothing down there. This is just an HR story. Slow news day, but I don't know Mack Rhodes, but I do like Rich Clark, the executive director of the College Football Playoff Committee. That's one hell of a man. 38 years in the Air Force, really like him. Retired as a lieutenant general, and then as a commandant, the superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, and he's now in his second season out there in Dallas.
Oh wow, that's pretty amazing. And also, we also found out today the AD of Colorado, he is stepping down. So that's news that came down today. So that's going to be interesting to see who takes over, and if Deion Sanders will still have a job at that school. So we're going to take a hold of that. Before we let you go, anything that you are hearing out there, not just regarding Florida, but anything in the world of college football and coaches? Are you hearing anything?
Yeah, I think LSU is trying to, work their way out of paying off a $54 million buyout to Brian Kelly, and they're trying to invoke clauses of whatever very small print. They just don't want to have to pay $54 million. And they'll end up settling for something in the middle. That's what I think will happen. I think Auburn's going to hire John Summerall as their next football coach. I think that'd be a wise choice. I think Ryan Silverfield, the Memphis coach, is a hell of a coach. I think Arkansas likes him a lot. Familiarity with that region. And those are two coaches I just mentioned I think will have immediate impact wherever they go. But I think Florida should take a hard look at Ryan Silverfield if they're looking to get a coach. He's a Jacksonville, Florida native, went to the Bowl School. He's been coaching since he was 18. He's 44. Do the math. Spent 8 years in the NFL. And the interesting stories, it's about how wrong so many people were in their predictions of who the best players would be, and in a lot of cases, who the best teams would be this season. Look, what you think you know about college football, just empty your head and start over. We got to unpack and repack, okay? Everything's changing real fast, but this is not the car that you were driving 5 or 10 years ago. This is a smart car, and it's got four-wheel drive. It's got all that stuff, heating and air, but we're going to have to retrain our brains so we can understand college football in today's world. But as Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, said on my show this morning, I said, how do you rank this season? He said, all things, it's a 10. People can't get enough college football.
No.
And I think the SEC teams of 5 and 10 years ago would boat race the SEC teams right now. But the free market, has a way of adjusting and fixing things. It's always darkest before dawn, people. Remember that. Great days ahead of us.
Finally, give me your upset of the weekend. College football. Who do you see? Who do you see upsetting?
I wouldn't be surprised. The crazy upset. If you want to, I'll throw one out there. This is crazy, but it's Mississippi State at Missouri or South Carolina at Texas A&M. Those will be closer than you think.
Yeah.
Those are my two. They're really not a whole hell of a lot. I think those are the two. And whoever wins Oklahoma, Alabama, that's not going to be an upset.
No, it's not. I think it's going to be a great game. I think we're going to have a great weekend of college.
We'll hear about
football.
John Mateer's hand, though.
Yeah, exactly. We'll hear about his hand, that's for sure.
Specifically, it's his thumb.
One other thing, too. If South Carolina decides to make a change to Shane Beamer, and I don't think it's going to happen, but if they do, you think Florida would go after him?
Ooh, I like him a lot.
I do too. I like Shane a lot. I mean, I think, or maybe.
I think he's plateaued in South Carolina. I mean, how many more runs does he? I mean, what is this? His fifth season?
I know. Yeah. I like Shane. I like Shane a lot.
Love Shane.
I love Shane Beamer.
Love his dad.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And I bet you Virginia Tech would love Shane to go there. I think that's what Shane would ultimately want to do, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm going to tell you a guy that right now, I'm going to tell you my surprise sleeper that Florida should go after if they don't get Kiffin. And the guy's proven himself, but he's had enough. He's on the ACC network right now. Former coach Dave Clawson.
Dave Clawson, okay.
If you can win it, Wake Forest is the smallest school with a major football program besides Tulsa.
Yeah.
The former oil capital of the world. Remember the OK Oil Company in the Beverly Hillbillies, Mr. Brewster, lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So look at Dave Clawson. I think you could pull him out of storage. The guy is a winner. He finds excuses to win. And no one's talking about him. The guy gets it done. Go ask Rick Neuheisel. Rick Neuheisel, would you come here for 5 years and fix Florida? I bet he would.
I would love. I know that Rick Neuheisel is it's a little bit old, but I think he would be great.
He's got the energy of a 30-year-old.
I think Rick Neuheisel, along with his son, I think would be two great additions to Florida if they could pull that off. But we're going to see what
I would
happens.
love to be the coach at Florida. I'm just telling you that. You are
I
on a
think he
baby
would.
train with biscuit wheels. You've got everything imaginable. That's what makes me so mad talking about Florida. I'm going, man, as a longtime rival, you're just like, you got to work at it. I mean, not winning at Florida is like misspelling your own name.
I know, and it's and everybody just waiting for this, you know. You know they're waiting for the lane train, but I think Florida misses the train, but I think they're going to get a really good head coach. Listen, I know you got to go. I got to go. I got to get ready to do
This was
something
fun,
else
man.
here. Yeah, and we're going to do this again next Thursday night.
Yeah.
You'll join me as well. Hopefully, we can get Lauren Meadows to join me as well.
Absolutely.
That giddy rat bastard, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I should be. Yeah, and I'm going to be traveling from Montgomery back to Memphis next Thursday, but I'll call you as soon as I leave. It's only about a 5-hour trip. It's not bad. I've got a morning meeting. I should be leaving right after that. So, but
okay, if you can make,
yeah, I want
if you
to.
can make,
I will do everything I
yeah.
can. Yeah,
All right, and I
love
appreciate hopping on here late.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me, man. It was great.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. Take care, animal. Love
You
it.
too, bye bye. That is, of course, it's Ron Brown of SEC Sideline. Catch him every Monday through Friday on Facebook. He does a great job and has on some great guests. Real quick, before we get out of here, we talked about some great games that's going to happen this weekend. It's going to start tomorrow night. Clemson will be at number 20 Louisville. Minnesota will be at number 8 Oregon. Saturday begins the day Wisconsin at number 2 Indiana. I am not going to be surprised if Wisconsin pulls that off. And how about the game last week? In the closing seconds, that receiver made that beautiful catch in the end zone. We talked about South Carolina. They'll be at Texas A&M for 11 a.m. game on ESPN. Notre Dame will be at Pittsburgh, 11 a.m. on ABC. Michigan will be at Northwestern. South Florida will be on ESPN2 against Navy. That's a 11 a.m. game on ESPN2. Other games to be watching out for during the course of the day. West Virginia, Arizona State, that will be on TNT. Oklahoma and Alabama, the game that Ron talked about a few minutes ago, that's on ABC, 2:30 Central Time. Miami will be home against NC State, 2:30 on ESPN. Iowa will be at USC, 2:30 game. That is on the Big Ten. Again, Iowa at USC, 2:30 on the Big Ten Network. Michigan State will be at home against Penn State. That should be a barn burner of a ball game. Other game, Memphis at East Carolina, North Carolina, Wake Forest. The Gators at Ole Miss, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Purdue at Washington, Utah State against UNLV. UCLA will be at number 1 Ohio State. That game will be on ESPN. Texas, Georgia, 6:30, ABC. That's going to be a fantastic game. Virginia Tech against Florida State. By the way, do not be surprised that Mike Norvell, he's another guy that gets on the chopping block. TCU at BYU on ESPN, and to close it out, Wyoming at Fresno State. I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight on Have a Full Cup of Joe. I hope you have fun. Every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, we'll be on. We've got great guests like Ron Brown. Hopefully, Lauren Meadows will join me next week. And as I always like to say, as we close this out, if you're not a Gator, you're primed to be Gator bait. Y'all have a good one. And Kill Shot, I'm on the way to you in a few minutes. Have a good night, and God bless. Okay, if I can end this here. Okay. Come on. Okay, here we go. I gotta.
Welcome to Half Full. And
Okay. For some reason, this thing is not working. Anyways, we're just going to go ahead and
Thanks for joining Joe Fulford on Half Full and a Cup of Joe. Don't forget to tune in next time for more football talk, analysis, and fun. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Half Full and a Cup of Joe. And remember, always keep your cup half full and your team spirit full. See you next time. Thanks for joining Joe Fulford on Half Full and a Cup of Joe. Don't forget to tune in next time for more football talk, analysis, and fun. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Half Full and a Cup of Joe. And remember, always keep your cup half full and your team spirit full. See you next time.